Man, new year, new blessings. You understand me? We made through a hell of a year. You understand? Anybody that ain't for you, anybody that's going against you, anybody that got negative, you understand me? Ain't bringing no positive vibe. You know, in the words of Gucci, put that in the dirt. Nigga.
I mean, this is the last stop of the jail for all the worst of the worst.
I'm aware of all of those things, but I know he don't want to be in here, so I know if he could afford it, he'd be out.
Welcome back to StarHush, where we keep our ears to the streets and the truth on blast. So get this, not much time has passed since Yella Beezy got locked up in Dallas County, and from the looks of it, he's already cracking under pressure. Word around town is, the man is struggling big time behind them walls. People close to the situation are saying Beezy's been panicking ever since he got booked, and he's been pushing hard for bail like he can't take another night inside. And let's keep it real, Dallas County Jail ain't no luxury suite. That place is known for breaking down even the toughest. From flashy chains to orange jumpsuits, it's a cold switch up. And Beezy's realizing fast that this whole situation might be bigger than he thought. One thing's clear, this ain't the kind of lifestyle you can finesse your way out of.
Yeah, we have a lot of guys, they still, do dope, they run the dope houses from inside the jails, a lot of kingpins, so it is an important item inside the jail.
Let's talk about why Dallas County Jail earned its rep as one of the roughest spots in Texas, and it's definitely not by accident. Ever since Yella Beezy got checked in on capital charges, the whole rap scene's been left stunned. But while fans try to make sense of the news, Beezy's in the trenches finding out fast that jail life ain't no music video. Dallas County ain't built for comfort, it's built for control. Word is Beezy's already breaking under the pressure. That VIP lifestyle he's used to? Gone. Now he's dealing with cold concrete, overcrowded cells, and a system that's been under heat for years. The jail is so packed, they're stuffing 40 men into spaces made for 8. It's beyond uncomfortable. It's a crisis, and officials are barely keeping it together. The noise inside never stops. It's so loud that inmates are shoving toilet paper in their ears just to get a second of silence. And privacy? Non-existent. Every corner's watched, and not in a safe kind of way. Special response teams, SRTs, keep the place running like a military boot camp. And these inspections? Straight up degrading. They got inmates kneeling in nothing but underwear while their stuff gets flipped and searched. There's no respect, just straight control. For the past 5 years, Dallas County Jail has been flunking state inspections like it's a routine. The Texas Commission on Jail Standards, the team that checks for basic safety and health, has been flagging them left and right, but the problems never seem to stop. It's almost like no one's even trying to fix it. Take February 2022. That inspection exposed just how reckless things really are. Inspectors found that the jail staff were faking watch logs for inmates at risk of hurting themselves. On paper, they acted like officers were doing their rounds, but the security footage told a whole different story. They weren't checking in nearly as much as they claimed, which put lives at serious risk. And the wildest part, that's just scratching the surface. Around 40 doors in the housing units were busted, and not just recently. Some had been out of service for a while, with inmates using banned items to jam the locks and control who came in or out. That's a major security threat, and it's been swept under the rug. And if all that wasn't enough, there's the North Tower, where you walk in and get hit with a burning stench. Staff blamed it on synthetic weed, known as K2, and inmates torching coffee grounds to mask the smell. Whatever the case, it's another example of how out of control things are behind those walls. And Yella Beezy? He's living in that chaos now. No fame, no filters, just cold reality.
I mean, a lot of people in here keep it real nasty. They don't really clean as often. They don't care. I mean, this is the last stop of the jail for all the worst of the worst.
Whatever the real reason, one thing's for sure. Folks inside that jail are breathing in straight up toxic smoke on the regular. Whether it's synthetic stuff or burnt coffee trying to mask the scent, it don't matter. People locked up, and even staff, are inhaling who knows what day in and day out. The crazy part? Inspectors saw all that, but still didn't demand any immediate fix. Everyone's just stuck breathing mystery fumes.
He has houses in other states, correct?
I'm not aware of that.
Are you aware of him paying and helping to support other individuals in the family and also extended family and friends?
I'm not into his business like that.
You agree with me that your grandson is substantially well off, correct?
He might used to be, but if he could make a $2 million bond, he'd be out.
Would you agree with me, though, that there's a difference between can, want to, and choosing not to?
I'm aware of all of those things, but I know he don't want to be in her, so I know if he could afford it, he'd be out.
And it doesn't stop there. Hygiene is completely falling apart too. Over in the West Tower, inmates in crisis care weren't even getting fresh clothes or clean sheets. Laundry workers were nowhere to be found, so floor officers had to step in to help out. That right there shows the whole system's out of sync. When basic needs ain't being met, you already know it's bad. Now let's talk about the South Tower. Back in March and April 2021, they were supposed to run regular generator checks, and guess what? Never happened. If the power cuts off, no one knows if the backup will even work. That's not just risky, it's a full-blown safety hazard. And with overcrowding getting worse by the day, it's only adding more pressure to a place already stretched to the limit. They've got construction going on, beds missing, and now they're even thinking about setting up temporary housing just to fit everyone. Add in broken air conditioning on top of all that. Yeah, this ain't a jail no more, it's survival mode. And if you thought the legal system was gonna help, think again. Inmates barely get time in the law library, and when they finally do try to get their legal motions processed, it takes forever. Their legal mail, which is supposed to stay private, keeps getting opened without them even being there. It's like the whole setup is designed to break people down and keep them stuck longer. And now, let's get to the part that's got everyone talking. Yella Beezy might be too broke to bond himself out. Word on the block is, even if he wanted to dip, he can't. His bail was set at a heavy $2 million, a number that shows the court ain't playing with these charges. But when they hit court, his grandma, Miss Alma Jean Alexander, stood tall and flipped the narrative, saying the state was way off. According to her, Beezy doesn't have nearly as much money as people think.
But wait a minute, but people think you the person that killed Mo3, man. They think you did it.
Her testimony didn't just hit, it shook the courtroom. And when other family members backed her up, the judge had no choice but to pause and take a deeper look. In a twist that caught everyone off guard, Judge Gracie Lewis sided with Bay, slicing his bond from a jaw-dropping $2 million to $750,000. But don't think he got off easy. This came with serious strings attached. Bay's been ordered to stay far away from any victims or witnesses, and the court made it crystal clear that playing games with financial disclosures won't fly. Prosecutors weren't going down without a fight, though. They pulled receipts, trying to show Bay had the cash and connections to disappear in a heartbeat if he wanted. They pointed at that bulletproof Denali like it was Exhibit A of his flashy lifestyle. On top of that, they brought up the nearly $870,000 sitting in his accounts back in 2020, claiming that kind of money could fuel something sinister, like planning and paying for a hit. And listen, this ain't some minor charge, we're talking capital murder, the most serious kind of case out there. And in Texas, that means you're either doing life without parole, or depending on the circumstances, possibly facing execution. It's no joke. Texas law applies capital murder charges in the worst of the worst scenarios, whether it's taking out a police officer, firefighter, a child under 10, or when a murder is tied to another serious crime like robbery or retaliation. In Bay's situation, prosecutors are arguing he bankrolled the hit on Mo3, which fits right into the murder for hire category, one of the biggest triggers for a capital case.
Let me say this first. Rainwater, my manager, it's not no street. Let me say it again. Rainwater, my manager, is not no street. He graduated high school and went to college, sir. Sir, you get what I'm saying?
To really understand how deep this can get, look at what's going down with Lil Durk right now. Durk, real name Dirk Derek Banks, was recently scooped up in South Florida by U.S. Marshals after being hit with federal charges out of California. According to court docs, he's accused of pulling the strings behind a murder-for-hire plot that traces all the way back to a nasty beef with someone named TB. But it gets darker. This whole mess ties right into the heartbreaking loss of King Von, Dirk's friend and a core member of OTF. Vaughn was gunned down on November 6, 2020 by an associate of TB. That tragedy supposedly lit the match for Dirk to go full revenge mode, with whispers of a bounty being placed on TB's head as payback. By August 19, 2022, things exploded. Allegedly, a group of OTF hitters flew out from Chicago to LA under Dirk's orders. They tracked TB to a gas station and let off at least 18 rounds, turning the block into chaos. And the worst part? A family member of TB got caught in the crossfire and lost their life in broad daylight, in the middle of a busy LA intersection. U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada didn't hold back. He called the incident a cold-blooded execution and said it showed zero care for innocent lives. Dirk, along with 5 others, is now facing multiple charges: murder, murder for hire, and conspiracy to commit murder for hire leading to death. It didn't stop there. Prosecutors say the shooters were paid with money connected directly to Dirk and the OTF crew. Allegedly, Dirk made sure someone else booked one-way flights for the hitters. No names tied to him, no paper trail. But like they say, smoke always leads to fire. The feds raided OTF-related properties and reportedly found even more evidence showing just how organized and intentional this setup was. Dirk's first court appearance happened in Miami at the Clyde Atkins U.S. Courthouse, where his lawyer stayed tight-lipped. But with the trial headed for LA and the charges stacking up, the weight on his career is massive. This is the same guy who just won a Grammy with J. Cole for All My Life. Now, he's staring at life in prison. And as of December 2024, it got even worse. Court records just linked him to another murder for hire case, the 2022 killing of Stefan Mack in Chicago. Trial date, October 2025. Bail, denied. So when people say Yella Beezy is in trouble, believe them. Mo3 was murdered back in 2020, and it took nearly 5 years for prosecutors to connect Bay to it. He and Mo3 had public beef for years, so the real question is, what changed? Did someone finally talk? Did new evidence pop up? Because if someone snitched, why now? This case is heating up fast, and Bay might be headed straight down the same path as Dirk if things keep unfolding like this. Dirk and 5 other folks are officially in deep water. And just when you think that's wild enough, prosecutors are saying the hit squad got paid straight out of OTF's own pockets. Word is, 5 men were flown out from Chicago to LA a day before the hit, locked and loaded, ready to get the job done. But wait, there's more. The real eyebrow raiser? Dirk allegedly made sure one of his people booked one-way flights for these dudes without attaching any names that could lead back to him. No paper trail, no fingerprints, just vibes and silence. But where there's smoke, there's fire. After the shooting, authorities hit multiple OTF-affiliated spots with search warrants and started pulling the curtain back on what they're now calling a fully calculated operation. Dirk's first court appearance went down at the C. Clyde Atkins U.S. Courthouse in Miami. His lawyer, Alec Ubieta, kept everything tight, didn't drop any gems or details. But with his case now sliding over to Los Angeles Federal Court, where they don't play, the pressure just shot through the roof. If convicted, Dirk could be locked away for life. And that's a massive fall from grace for someone who was just celebrating a Grammy win earlier this year for All My Life with J. Cole. But the mess don't stop there. In December 2024, during a hearing, unsealed court docs linked Dirk to another alleged murder for hire plot. This one connects him to the January 2022 shooting of Stefan Mack in Chicago. Now he's got a trial set for October 2025, and he's already been denied bail. So, while he sits, things are only heating up. Now let's bring it back to Yella Beezy and Mo3. Mo3 was gunned down back in 2020, and it's been nearly 5 years since that tragic day. But only recently did prosecutors circle back around and tie Yella Beezy's name to it, which got everyone asking, what made the feds decide now's the time to go after him? Was there a snitch in the mix, or is this about to turn into a whole RICO-type situation? Let's rewind to that heartbreaking day in November 2020. Mo3, real name Melvin Noble, was driving on I-35 in Dallas when he noticed a car following him. Whatever energy he felt, he trusted it. Mo3 dipped, got out the car, and tried to run on foot across the highway, but the person tailing him wasn't letting up. They hopped out and started firing in the middle of traffic like it was nothing. Gunshots echoed down the freeway while stunned drivers watched the whole thing go down. Mo 3 didn't make it. The shots were fatal. And just like that, Dallas lost one of its most loved upcoming artists in broad daylight in one of the busiest spots in the whole city. The wildest part? This wasn't some robbery gone wrong. This had all the signs of a planned hit. People started speculating quick. Was it beef? Was it envy? Whatever the motive, authorities took it seriously and started piecing together what happened. They released images of a masked suspect right before the shooting. That photo became key in tracking down the man behind it all, Quan Dontrell White. White, only 22 at the time, already had a track record, out on bond for a gun case and evading police before Mo 3 was even killed. But after the shooting, things unraveled fast. Surveillance video and witness accounts placed him near the scene, and once that puzzle started coming together, the police were convinced White was the shooter. Mo 3 had no chance. White chased him down, let off multiple shots, and didn't stop until Mo 3 was gone, and another man got hit in the chaos too, showing just how reckless the whole thing was. Following the murder, Dallas Police Chief U. Renee Hall spoke on the rise in gun violence across the city and even called in the FBI to help dig deeper into what was going on in the streets. On December 9th, 2020, White got scooped up by federal agents. He was hit with murder charges and being a felon in possession of a weapon, and the evidence was stacked. He didn't just sit down quietly either. When the feds rolled up in Oak Cliff to get him, White tried to flee on a dirt bike, then made a run for it on foot. When they finally got him, he had a loaded 9mm on him, so you already know they added more heat to his charges. Now this whole case took a sharp left when the US Attorney's Office dropped a bomb. Turns out another dude connected to Q White was in the mix too. Meet 27-year-old Devin Morris Brown, a known associate of White who got hit with some serious federal charges. And it wasn't no light stuff. We're talking about drug and weapons charges that raised all types of red flags. When the feds searched Brown's spot, they uncovered a whole stash, a stolen assault-style rifle, synthetic weed, meth, and a bunch of other illegal goods. But what really made investigators pay attention was how closely he was tied to Q White. The feds kept the details of their connection low-key, but sources say the real reason Brown was allegedly caught up in this was because Mo 3 was getting too close to a woman in his life. And when Mo 3 went live on Facebook with her, that was the final straw. Brown wasn't just in his feelings, he was ready to make a move. Reports say he started hitting up witnesses, trying to track Mo 3's every move. And on the day of the hit, he wasn't chilling. He was locked in, full throttle, on some get-even mission. Now get this, Brown and White were blowing up each other's phones before and during the hit. That's right, investigators pulled up call logs showing that they were in contact right around the same time the shooting went down. But when White got grilled, he played dumb, acting like he didn't even remember Brown's number. Really? That's the story? Fast forward to 5 years later, and police believe they finally pieced together the real plot. Court docs now claim that Yella Beezy himself was the one calling the plays. Yup, prosecutors are saying he hired Q White to take Mo 3 out, setting up what looks like a cold, calculated hit. While they're still keeping the exact motive under wraps, the puzzle pieces are falling into place, and it ain't looking good for Beezy, but it doesn't stop there. Just 2 days after Mo 3's murder, we're talking November 13th, 2020, Beezy allegedly went to the bank and pulled out $40,000 in cold hard cash. The timing? Sketchy. The amount? Way too specific. That move made investigators pause. Like, what was he planning to do with that type of money so fast? Witnesses even told police that Bay was acting real off before that bank run. Nervous, on edge, constantly looking over his shoulder like he knew something was coming. Surveillance footage from the bank only added more fuel to the fire. The video shows Bay walking in, head on a swivel, checking his surroundings like he was being watched. And now, that footage is sitting in the hands of investigators who are breaking down every frame. And the wildest part? A key witness is ready to testify, saying they overheard Bay talking about paying for Mo 3's murder. Let that sink in. That's the kind of evidence prosecutors love. Someone on the inside claiming they heard the whole plan get discussed out loud. Add that to Bay's flex-worthy lifestyle, bulletproof rides, stacks in the bank, and now prosecutors are saying he's not just a possible mastermind, but also a serious flight risk. He's got the bread, the means, and the past beef with Mo3. It's painting a picture of someone who had the money, the motive, and maybe even the audacity to think he could pull it off clean. Then there's the most chilling piece of all, that surveillance footage from Interstate 35. Yes, the exact video that shows Q White chasing Mo3 down and unloading on him in broad daylight. Witnesses were frozen. People just driving to work or school watched it unfold like a scene from a movie, except it was all real. 44 shell casings were found at the scene, a clear sign this wasn't just a scare tactic. This was meant to end Mo3's life. If Bay really set this all up, he either thought he was above the law or just completely underestimated how hard the system was gonna come down. Let's talk about Yella Beezy and Mo3's beef. Because this wasn't just rap drama, it was a storm building for years that eventually shook the Dallas scene to its core. What started off as two talented artists coming up in the same city turned into a full-blown rivalry that spiraled out of control. At first, it looked like they were both just trying to shine. Two local stars chasing the same dream. But as the spotlight got brighter, the energy between them got darker. Their rise to fame wasn't just about who had bars. It was about who had the streets behind them, who had the respect, and who was really running Dallas. And once the clout started pouring in, so did the tension. Their feud started off with slick talk in songs and shade on social media. But fans knew what it was. The sneak disses, the not-so-sneaky comments. Yeah, the tension was building. One Reddit user summed it up perfectly. Yeah, I know Mo3's head started getting big, and he was talking a lot on social media. Just didn't know if that was 100% what got him killed. That comment hit a nerve, because real talk, a lot of people were thinking the same thing. See, Mo3 wasn't the type to hold back, and some say that boldness might have pushed things too far. But the actual cause behind all the heat, still up for debate. What we do know is that things went from music beef to real-life drama real quick. Back in 2018, the streets got rocked after the death of Roy Lee Pate, a Dallas comedian and one of Mo3's close friends. Roy had clowned on Yella Beezy publicly, questioning whether Beezy really had love in Oak Cliff, and that alone had people talking. Roy was known to speak his mind, and this jab definitely didn't sit right with some folks. Then boom! The very next day after Roy passed, Yella Beezy gets caught in a drive-by in Louisville. That wasn't just some random moment. People immediately started connecting the dots. The timing was too perfect. Speculation swirled heavy, like maybe Beezy got hit because someone thought he had something to do with Roy's death. That incident marked a major turning point. The beef wasn't just about rap anymore. Now we were talking about real retaliation, real danger. People on both sides were looking over their shoulders. The vibe in Dallas? Tense. Still, even with all this going on, both Mo3 and Yella Beezy publicly played it cool. They denied having deep issues, shrugged off the tension, and acted like the streets were just reading too much into it. But let's be honest, fans weren't buying it. The energy spoke louder than any press statement. Let's be real, the streets weren't buying that peace talk, not after all the messy moments that kept popping off. One big red flag: the alleged attack on Mo3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, in January 2020. Word is, Yella Beezy and his crew ran up on Rainwater at a Dallas strip club and left him with a dislocated hip. Yeah, they weren't just talking, they were throwing hands. What made it worse? Bay's crew allegedly hopped online, laughing and bragging about it like it was just another night out. And that right there just poured more gas on the fire that had already been lit. Meanwhile, Yella Beezy stayed low-key. His words about Mo3 were always a little cryptic, never too loud, but never too friendly either. In a 2024 sit-down with Can I Vent, when he got asked straight up about Mo3's death, Beezy hit back with, "What was the point?" Just like that, cold and dismissive, no emotions. That one sentence had people thinking there was way more going on than either of them let on. But then came a twist. In another interview, Beezy said Mo3's death hit hard and called it a big impact. That moment right there showed a rare crack in the armor. Some folks took that as a little bit of respect, something you wouldn't expect after all the chaos. Their dynamic was complicated, filled with smoke, shade, and sideways energy. And don't forget, Beezy got shot 3 times back in 2018 while driving through Dallas. It was a serious moment that had the whole city on edge. Mo3's reaction? Cold as ice. He brushed it off saying, "You gotta stay out the way. People get hit up every day." That response had folks talking for weeks. Still, both of them kept claiming the drama wasn't real beef. Mo3 stayed telling people he wasn't out here looking for rap smoke. "I just report like the news," he said. To him, it was all storytelling, not instigating. Beezy echoed something similar later on, saying it was all just little stuff, nothing serious, but he also admitted they'd never be cool, even if they squashed it. At the end of the day, whatever was really going on between Mo3 and Yella Beezy may never be fully known. But one thing's for sure, Mo3's death changed the game forever in Dallas. Whether it was deep hate or just rap rivalry gone wrong, this whole saga is a loud reminder of how competition in the industry can flip into tragedy when the lines between music and the streets get blurred. Hiring someone like Quan Dontrell White, a dude already known to law enforcement, so if true, that's beyond risky. It's reckless. And now that there's allegedly a witness stepping forward ready to testify about a money exchange tied to the hit, things just went from bad to downright explosive. And let's not act like Bay's slate was clean before all this. His name's been tied up in legal trouble more than once. Back in 2018, he caught bullets while riding down State Highway 121 in Louisville. That incident shook fans and raised eyebrows. It looked like a warning, not a random attack. Then in February 2021, he got booked in Dallas County for unlawful possession of a firearm. And just a few months later, he found himself facing even heavier accusations, sexual assault and child endangerment, in Collin County. That case, according to court records, got closed with no conviction. Still, it left a mark on his name. As for the Dallas County gun charge, that one was also dismissed in July 2023, but the cloud of controversy didn't move with it. Bay kept showing up in drama, including a lawsuit out in Harris County, where it was claimed that Chris Brown and some of his people allegedly beat down 4 men after a concert at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. Bay was dragged into it too, even though his lawyer quickly told the press that he had no contact with the plaintiffs. Still, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. It's wild to see someone with Bay's platform, status, and money, who had access to a real career and success, end up in a mess like this. Why risk it all? Why move so sloppy? Especially when the walls were already closing in from all directions. But this case ain't over yet, and more receipts might be coming soon. So what do you think, my stars and hushers? Was this just bad luck or a bad decision waiting to catch up? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss the next drop of tea. And don't go too far. Click the next video on your screen because we're just getting started. See you in the next one, my stars and hushers.